She was tipping her hand that arrests were on the way, and this is the first one that's been made.
She is absolutely dead to rights on these charges. And I've just never felt less sympathy for somebody. Up next, we've got another entry in the F Around and Find Out Olympics. And I think this person might actually be awarded a gold medal. We are speaking, of course, of the left-wing activist. I think she's like part of BLM and other kind of left-wing activist groups. And she's now going to jail, most likely. She's been arrested, this woman, because she led the protest against, and you call it a protest. It's not a peaceful protest. It's not a legal protest. It is illegal. Anyway, she led the charge to disrupt a church service in Minnesota. And then she specifically had pseudo-journalist Don Lemon come along and broadcast the entire thing. And now this woman's been arrested. And it is absolutely hilarious. First, though, I want to play you guys this clip of her on CNN last night, where she seemed super confident that they hadn't done anything wrong. And of course, the CNN host went along with just absolute BS spin revisionism. Listen to this. Here we go.
And I do want to correct something that was said in the beginning. We did not rush into that church. We actually went and sat down and participated in the service. And after the pastor prayed, that is when I stood up and asked him a question in response to his prayer. And then he responded to me. And then I proceeded to ask him about Pastor David Easterwood and how is it possible for him to serve as both the pastor and the director of ICE for Minnesota. And instead of responding to me, as soon as I said the name David Easterwood, the pastor said, "Shame, shame." And that is when I led us in chants, "Justice for Renee Good" and "Hands Up, Don't Shoot." So I want to clarify that. We didn't rush in. We didn't bust in. We were a part of the service until I got up and posed that question to the pastor.
All right. And obviously, I'm not going to dispute your saying what happened. I'm merely describing how CNN is describing it. I obviously wasn't in the room.
Well, I am. I am going to dispute how she's describing how this all went down. This is Nekima Levy Armstrong, the activist who stormed that church and disrupted it to the point where they had to end the service and families were forced to leave and some kids were scared and all that, all in Minnesota as part of this anti-ICE protesting. Yeah, that's illegal and it's on camera. So do not tell us that you simply said, "Oh, we just went in the church to participate in the service and sit there peacefully and I just asked him a question." You're a liar. It's on camera. You're also on camera beforehand, specifically saying your intent was to disrupt the service. And we're going to go to that. So miss me with this bullshit revisionism. "We just went there to peacefully participate in the service. I just asked him a question." No, you went there to shut down the service, which is illegal. It's a violation of their religious rights and free speech rights. And it's a criminal act. And now Miss Nekima is, like I said, people got mad at me for saying it. I said some of these hoes are going to jail. When they did this little protest, they did their big one. Well, some of them, including the ringleader hoe here, Miss Nekima, is probably going to jail because she was just arrested by the authorities. Let's roll this clip of Fox News reporting on the arrest.
Remember that church incident on Sunday in Minneapolis? The AG Pam Bondi posted this, all right? I'm reading now. "Minutes ago, at my direction, HSI and FBI agents executed an arrest in Minnesota. So far, we've arrested Nekima. So far, okay, we'll come back to that. So far, we have arrested Nekima Levy Armstrong, who allegedly played a key role in organizing the coordinated attack on City's Church in St. Paul, Minnesota. We will share more updates as they become available. Listen loud and clear. We do not tolerate attacks on places of worship," end quote. I want you to react to that, Paul. But on Monday, Tricia McLaughlin was on with Dana and me. And part of her answer said, "I think we will be seeing mugshots very soon." She was tipping her hand that arrests were on on the way, rather, and this is the first one that's been made.
Yeah, and, look, there's going to be very, very little that they can do in defense of this because it's on film, and for once, they didn't cover their faces. Now, here is the thing that's going to come out of this. You have her under arrest. Now you're going to get the communications, and this is where it starts to spider web out. You start to see who was talking to who showed up in regard, including Don Lemon. How much did they all know going in? That imports things like conspiracy charges, which can be quite heavy. There's criminal civil rights charges that are implicated in the church incident.
This is also because one of the things that we found out about that was that they were targeting them.
Mm-hmm. She's cooked, y'all. She is absolutely dead to rights on these charges. And I've just never felt less sympathy for somebody because she wanted to do her big one. She wanted to play stupid games. And so here you go, winning stupid prizes. They specifically set out to disrupt a church service and shut it down. And then they literally brought around cameras and live streamed it. And then they're going to be like, oh, no, that's not what we did. And they're going to lie to us. No, you're not. And the feds are going to come after you. Okay, here's the attention you ordered. It's that meme of like the McDonald's drive-thru and they hand you the bag and here's the attention you ordered. You set out to cause a scene, to wreak havoc, to disrupt a church in an intentionally inflammatory act, which, by the way, if you actually cared about protesting or pushing back on ICE, you wouldn't do things like this that are obviously going to be perceived negatively by the public and hurt your cause, but they don't actually care about that. They just care about their own egos and drawing attention to themselves. Anyway, I want to play you a clip just so you realize there's really no wiggle room here for her. She's trying, and I guess on CNN, she might be able to get away with it if they don't do basic due diligence and push back on her lying. But in a courtroom, you aren't going to get away with those lies, babe, because here she is, this woman on camera before the incident, telling Don Lemon the plan was to disrupt the church service, which is illegal under federal law. Here we are.
Okay.
How are you?
Good.
To see you. We're on. We're not saying what it is, what's going on, but thank you. Tell us why you're doing this.
So
this is Nekima Levy Armstrong. She's on the show
Nekima
on
Levy
Friday.
Armstrong, civil rights attorney, longtime activist here in the community. And, we protest and do activism in all kinds of ways. This is Operation Pull Up, more of a clandestine operation. We show up somewhere that is a key location. They don't expect us to come there. And then we disrupt business as usual. So that's what we're about to go do right now. We've had a lot of success with the times we have done Operation Pull Up.
Yeah. There you have it, folks. Their intention is to go to these targeted places and disrupt business as usual. Oh, it's a clandestine operation. All right, well, here you go. You're about to get hit with some charges. In fact, you already have been by the time that we're watching this. And it's so funny because she made this into the spotlight. Like, she brought the heat to this on purpose by bringing Don Lemon, who, whatever you think of him, is a very famous / infamous journalist and pundit. So as soon as he was involved, the amount of eyeballs that was going to be on the situation exponentially increased. And so here's a tweet I thought was interesting from Chuck Ross. Such a colossal backfire for Nekima Levy Armstrong. She invited Don Lemon to this protest to get more attention, and it goes viral because Don Lemon was involved. And now Armstrong has been arrested because of all the attention generated by the Lemon live stream. Yeah, that is kind of exactly what happened here. It's like she set out to get noticed and to document this, and now she has been noticed by federal prosecutors. And she's going to go to jail, or at least plead guilty to some sort of crimes, or if not, be convicted in an ultimate jury trial if it goes there, because you can't do this. And I think ultimately her facing some form of legal consequences is a good thing. We should send the message that you are absolutely within your right to peacefully protest against ICE, even if at this church, because their whole concern is that one of the people involved with this church is an ICE official, as if that somehow justifies scaring these children and families and disrupting a church service. It doesn't. But regardless, they could have literally picketed outside this church with signs if they wanted to on the street. That would be entirely legal and within their right. But instead, they decided to act like a crazy mob and go and scare people and go and violate people's civil rights. And it's absolutely good that they're being held accountable for it, to send the message that you're not allowed to do this and you're not allowed to go there. Because part of the problem is, in past incidents, like the George Floyd riots, where dozens of people were killed, they didn't crack down on it hard enough. And that's why it kept happening. Some of these places had riots regularly for months. It's like, no, you have to send the message this behavior is not tolerated. And at least on this particular woman's case, that's what the Trump administration is doing. And I think they're completely justified in doing so. That's my take. You guys will have to let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, yada, yada, yada.